each week or each step gets better, things improve. Hi Geminis, hope that you are well, and what's happening for you now in this month. Yours is like a story of each week or each step gets better, things improve for you. So that's a positive. And because it's been a mixed bag of what the energy is been doing to different star signs in this month. And because we are in a Mercury retrograde for pretty much most of it, first 3 weeks, it's impacting signs in different ways, and we can't generally sometimes escape the negative traps of a Mercury retrograde. But yours is more like taking steps in the right direction when it comes to communication, mainly in your love life. It doesn't matter if you're newly dating somebody, whether you are in a long-term relationship. It is about baby steps in the right direction. It starts like this. It starts the beginning of the month with you learning a piece of information or learning the truth about something, and you feeling like you have to start again, and you feeling like perhaps what you knew you didn't know, which is a really awkward place to start, because because it's a general reading, that can mean so many things. That can mean maybe you started dating somebody and then suddenly you find out that they're married, and you're like, okay, that's not what I thought. I need to consider whether I still want to do this or not. Or you could find out that you're in a long-term relationship and find out that your husband or your wife has been squirreling your money away and they've been buying stuff they shouldn't, and then that leads you to have a different view about the direction perhaps you were both going in that relationship because of money you thought you did or didn't have. And so that's how you start your month, a little bit disappointed in somebody else that you had hopes for, or that you thought you knew, or do you just surprised, disappointed. And it does get you to question about how you're going to be able to move it into the right direction, because particularly in a Mercury retrograde, when somebody like that does that, you can have a bad thought and then the Mercury retrograde will turn it into tenfold. You can demonize that person because of it. So be aware of that. In the second week, I do see that the other person wants to try and resolve it with you, and it is being shown that you're not willing to too much because you're still annoyed, and I can get that. So look at the money situation. If you were saving, let's say with your partner, you had a joint bank account and you'd been saving because you both were going to get married with that money, and then you went in there and it's like £5,000 or dollars shorter than what you thought there would be because he or she, I don't know, £5,000 worth of candy, you would be upset with them and perhaps would not want to try and resolve it for a little while because you're trying to get your head around it, or you're just mad. So it pretty much still basically continues, but I guess what I like is that they are trying to resolve it instead of getting defensive too, or there's no indication of a breakup. So that's where they say, like, you get this bad news, but then there is a step in the right direction, even though you're not, you're kind of batting the hand away. It is a move in the right direction. Then in the third week, I had this with the Taurian one, like, you are cross with them. And so you've learnt a truth. Now you feel like you want to tell them a truth. And it's coming because you just have this kind of still hostility, even though they've been trying and making efforts. You just need to get it off your chest. But whatever you say really makes them think, gosh, well, it's over then. Or, gosh, I'm now offended and now I'm moving on. And it feels worse than what I say because it's still a step in the right direction, because I feel like both of you need to just get this off your chest, get it resolved. And you can't do that if you don't, the second week you weren't engaging, even though they were trying. This time you're engaging, but it's now 3 weeks worth of coming out. Of course they're going to be worried that you're not going to want to be with them, or maybe even offended. Obviously, because you're seeing this, and it really depends on when you see this, you could try and avoid some of this. This is partly the reason why readings can be useful. You can say, you know what, I'm not going to wait for 3 weeks. I'm going to try and resolve this now. Trying to get rid of my anger now. Try to find the solution now. Or You just wait until that happens. Coincidentally, it seems to end this kind of like bad blood between you and this other person right up until the retrograde ends on the 3rd week of November. But then, as that veil moves away, get to the fourth stroke 5th week, because we have a bit of a long month this month, you come to an understanding. Feels like that person makes you a promise. Feels like you also make a promise to maybe not bite their head off so badly the next time also too. And because I think what happens is they did a bad thing, and then eventually your anger or the way you retaliate can be seen as equally not as good. But it leads to conversations that help you to resolve it. I don't get breakups. I get you both feeling like you want it because of this, but I don't get breakups. And that includes even if you're dating somebody. Could be a bit of heavy drama to deal with somebody that you're first dating with, but somehow that miscommunication or understanding can be worked out ish. So I'm just thinking about if they're married, maybe not, but do you know what I mean? Some of you may choose that you want to risk doing that. Because maybe the story's bigger. Maybe it's just they're married in paper, but they have been separated for a while. But basically in the last week, your friend's resolving it. And so it is a step in the right direction. It feels like a boggy month when I say it out loud, but actually it feels like it's super bonding. You get more clarity, better understanding about each other. There is no secrets anymore. You learn something about your partner or the partner to be that you will take into consideration going forward, i.e. do I lend them money or not? Like things like that. So, but it works out. So I hope that's been helpful. If you have a question about your own personal circumstances, I do have private readings, and the links to my services are just down below. You all have an amazing month, and I'll be back in December. Take care.